Evan here from MyoLab. Today we're talking about Cuban rotations. Why? Cuban rotations are a phenomenal end-stage shoulder rehab exercise. This is a compound and complex movement that puts together much of what we've already worked on in other shoulder videos. So this is not typically a stage 1 video at all. We want to make sure that you have been progressed by your healthcare provider. So this works on a complex number of your parascapular muscles through your shoulder blades to make coordinated movement. Also, if you can do this properly, it's a nice progression to then allow you to be cleared for almost any shoulder activity after your shoulder injury. So first, we're going to show you a full demonstration of this exercise, showing a progression, and then we're also going to break it down in more depth with a partner. Now, progression into a press. And then we'll bring Dan over here for a more in-depth breakdown. All right, so now that we have Dan here, a bit more of an in-depth breakdown. So we are supported, and I'm sure you're thinking, well, I don't have this kind of a support at home. Well, no worries. This can be a kitchen counter, an implement like a couch, a coffee table, a dining room table, whatever you might have. But the goal here is that we have the elbow and the shoulder in line, parallel to the ground. That unloads the shoulder so you can focus on the beginning phases of this exercise. Now in this position too, you'll see Dan, he's in a bit of a split squat lunge position with the opposite leg. So in this case, his right leg is bent, hand is on his right leg while he's working the left shoulder. You could also do this from a seated position if you have an appropriate height chair or stool. Now that we're getting started here too, we want to make sure the band has just enough tension. We're talking about a light tension because this exercise is going to get very difficult very quickly. We're going to start with Dan turning his thumb up to the ceiling. What he's going to be doing is driving that thumb all the way back, opening up his armpit. So a cue you can think of here is 1, drive that elbow into the ground. 2, thrust that armpit forward into the wall, exposing as much of your armpit as possible. Now, common errors that we're going to see through this is people shifting again through their trunk. Very common if we're not activating our core. Core always needs to be engaged, of course. Good. Another one we're going to see is people having palms down and going up. That just ends up working some different kind of rotator cuff muscles than we're identifying today. Also doing this, they're more prone to having the wrist break through. You can be into hyperextension, hyperflexion, but at the end of the day, when we're doing either of those, we're working out the forearms, and that's not our primary goal here. Maybe the last common error we're going to discuss here today is that activation of the trap. Okay, our traps love to get activated, so we really got to be conscious about keeping that down. You'll see Dan there clearly showing that upper trap is activated. So remember, shoulder blades back and down every shoulder exercise we do. All right, perfect. Now Dan is ready for a progression. So what we're going to do here, I'm going to remove these pads. Now that Dan has enough body awareness, he's been able to do this supported, he's going to get himself into an unsupported position. This gets substantially harder while way easier to cheat through. So now he's imagining there's something supporting him there. That elbow is fixed in space. He's going to go through that exact same range here. Shoulders are locked, elbow is locked, thumb to the sky. He's exposing his left armpit to the wall. All while not bending through the lower back. Keep that core nice and engaged, hips are nice and even. Now we're going to go into one further progression, which is a Cuban press. So it's the exact same rotation, and when he gets to maximal, he's going to press up above himself. As you can tell, this is also going to challenge his balance and every supporting shoulder structure we have. Good. Now, Dan, you can slowly put that back in. We are done with our sets for the day. Let's talk about exercise dosage. So your practitioner may specify the correct number of reps and set based on your individual condition, but generally speaking, if we're in phase 1 rehab, which is still talking about some pain, we're trying to turn on a muscle that has been inactive, we want to do this simply until you feel a burn. Now this is that muscle working, especially we're talking about through this area, not burning through the rotator cuff the entire time. Phase 2, we're out of pain at this point, and we're focusing on building strength. This is where this exercise really shines. We're going to technical failure. So this occurs when you can no longer do the correct form, i.e., you've done some of these common errors that we just discussed, Or let's say you can do 25 of these reps with no problem. Then it's time to progress to the next level of this exercise. You have any questions still? Awesome. Leave us a comment below, message us on Instagram, or email us at info@myolab.ca.